Southern Christian College, a graduate of Southern Christian College, which is a local partner of MPI. We've had many of their students who have participated in the training and who have become secretary volunteers. So we are very happy to have all of you today and for this week. And you too, I really enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ma'am Christine. Together with our facilitators and our class assistant. Why not we give them a MPI clap? Not a wave anymore. I know you're tired, okay? The MPI wave, let's reserve it. But as of now, let's do the MPI clap for them. Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, go! MPI! And our class assistants. And this time for our inspirational message, we will listen to the Manita Tagaulo Mission Team Coordinator, at the same time MPI Board of Trustees, and one of the MPI 2019 Facilitator. Let us all welcome Ms. Marites E. Gonzalo.
Let me start by greeting you all, Madjaw Masilam. That's good morning in our language. Mayong buntag sa tanan. Today is the beginning of our second week courses that are anchored to thematic approaches in creating and strengthening a culture of peace. Thus, our theme for this year's training is geared on positive engagements in peace building. This leads us to look into our very own practices at this annual training, vis-a-vis our curriculum design, dynamics, and most especially our engagements when we are in our respective communities and countries. Right now, I feel nervous in front of you. Really nervous. I feel so little, for I am a neophyte in peace building effort. In 2016, when Chris invited me to become part of MPI's board, I was so hesitant to accept the invitation, for I don't have much work experience in peace building. But after all, after a short period of discernment, I should say, I accepted the challenge, for I know I have so much to learn, and I decided to learn from MPI. I don't have much experience in peace building work in an institution or in an NGO, but I have my experience from my own Tagaulo indigenous community. This, I think, will be a significant contribution in peace building efforts and advocacies. Coming from Lumad or indigenous perspective, peace begins with ourselves, with oneself. Meaning, I bring it with me, you bring it with you. We live it, it's our way of life. Let me share with you a very personal story. When I was in my secondary schooling, I had experience that brought detrimental effect on my being an indigenous person. I was bullied at school because my accent is different from the language accent of my lowlander schoolmates. I, together with my dorm mates, who also belongs to the other ethno-linguistic groups in our province, were labeled as Angabukit or Bukit, Rasik, who are not that civilized like them and ignorant. At times, our way of dressing and walking when we are in our town were the basis of bullying. We were out of fashion in the eyes of the majority lowlanders. Whenever we were asked to perform our traditional dance at school or in a huge gathering like this, I always hesitate and cry in silence because I knew the moment my schoolmates saw me and other Lumad students dancing our traditional dance, they would tease us. I remember one was 1995, during an annual festival in our town. One of the activities were horse fighting. For whatsoever that time, in the middle, we were asked to perform our dance in the horse fighting fence. The moment we started to dance, I feel my heart beat so fast. It beats like the stamp of the feet of horse running so fast just to escape its opponent. That heartbeat of mine is coming from the yells and boo of the young audiences while we were dancing. The day after that festival, I did not want to go to school, for I knew that for a fact our classmates and schoolmates would bully us, saying, "Uyawan ni Gonzalo gahapon, oy, mura pulong kabayo sayang." That's like saying, "Oh, you are dancing like a horse." And that for me, that moment was degrading. Because of this experience, my self-esteem and self-confidence goes very low. I think it goes 3 feet below the ground. It made me unworthy, undignified, shameful. And this led me to a complexity and disorder concept of being an indigenous person or lumang. And from that moment, I did not want to dance our traditional dance. I feel very ill and hate about being a Tagapolo and wanted to belong to the Bisaya group of lowlanders. I came to a point of my teenage life that I asked and blamed Chumanun, or God, for giving me a father whose ancestors originated from the mountains and belonged to the ethno-linguistic group. I came to a point of disowning my Tagapolo identity and trying to forget my cultural roots. How shameful of me, I should say, but that was what I've been through. That experience made me unpeaceful. It made me feel uneasy and uncomfortable whenever I am with a huge group like this. I always doubt and suspicious whenever someone looks at me while talking to the other person. My suspicion would always go to this person, these people were talking about me being rustic, ignorant, and so on and so on. Years had passed. I continued my schooling, went back to my community to serve my own people. Afterwards, after 3 years, I decided to continue my college degree, and after graduation, I went to the city and find a job. While working in the city, I've met people who are advocating and working with indigenous communities, peace advocates in Mindanao, religious men and women, and NGO workers. They were the ones helping me realize the realities and needs of our indigenous community. After 5 years of staying in the city, it became so vivid to me. I started asking myself, as a Tagapolo, how can I contribute? How can I be of my people's service? That was the moment that I feel that the mountains are calling me, as if they were saying, "Come back to me. Come back to us, for you belong to us." This is why I go back to my community and started to work with my people. Peace begins with oneself. It's a way of life. It's a spirituality. Going to back my community is like going back and tracing my own roots. I started to listen and learn to our elders about indigenous knowledge, systems, practices, and spirituality. Elders in our community should be listened to, for they are the repository and our culture bearers. I started to appreciate, rediscover, relearn, recognize, and re-embrace the richness of our cultural practices and values. This, for me, gives me a strong foundation of our cultural identity. Our identity and like rituals, dances, and songs are greatly related to land, environment, ecology, and its symbiotic relationship to human living. That is why, in the greater scheme of things, especially in Mindanao, Lumans will never be at peace if we are continually deprived of our rights to our home. Concern for the Luman in Mindanao at present focuses on the development projects that threaten to displace us from our homeland, or what is otherwise called the developmental aggression. Nowadays, there are a number of our Luman communities that are caught in the crossfire between government and rebel forces. They are either tagged as MPA, or New People's Army rebels, or assets to the government military forces. They are sandwiched between these two opposing forces that most of the time encountered in our Luman homeland. On the other hand, colonization brought us various influences and had challenged us as people, as nation. These influences are now imprinted and integrated in our government laws, educational systems, and even in our value systems. For me, it is our great challenge to trace back our roots. Let us start with ourselves and our families. Then we can find peace. How can we do this? For me, as women, we need to make our culture stronger, because culture will bring us peace. Culture is the soul of our community and a basic identity of a country. The role of our elders is a significant part of this journey of going back and rediscovering who we are as a people. In the same way, our facilitators in this training are our mentors for learning what and how it is to build peace in each of our own lands. With this, I say, look into yourself and trace back who you are as a peace builder, and be filled with peace in yourself. May this week bring a fun and rich journey to